Good evening. I will now open this closeout hearing. The purpose of this hearing is to discuss the past performance by the city in carrying out the city's CDBG grant funding for the Oak Street Stormwater Project. Melanie Barnett is a Community Development Specialist with South Central Ozark Council of Governments, or SCOCOG, as it is known, and she will address the council now. One thing I would like to add, there was a question about how and when the notice went out for this hearing, and our instruction from SCOCOG was that it was to be hung up in City Hall and posted on the city's Facebook page at least 5 days before the closeout hearing. And that was done. It was posted at City Hall, council chambers, and put on Facebook
Thank you.
on Tuesday.
So this is a closeout public hearing for the Oak Street project. This hearing can be conducted once the project has reached 80% completion. So the purpose of this grant was to install approximately 700 linear feet of new reinforced concrete box culvert, approximately 570 linear feet of stormwater piping along with the necessary inlets to prevent flooding in the downtown area, primarily on Oak Street, followed by a 2-inch overlay of the street after completion of the stormwater improvements. The project was funded by CDBG mitigation grant funds totaling $1.7 million. There were 2 bidders for this project. Have there been any written or verbal complaints received by the public?
No written and verbal would be hearsay, nothing.
Okay. Are there any comments tonight anyone wants to make about this project?
Does anyone want to speak? Okay.
That's all I have then. That's- Yeah, that
I'd like
includes
to
you,
just
of
say
course.
thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it was much needed. I've seen canoes, so has Eddie. He's
Right,
seen canoes paddle down the street here.
right,
Haven't seen that. I'd just like to say thank you.
good.
And we did have some extenuating circumstances with the culvert falling in, the dump truck falling in. That was repaired, and the overlay of the street was completed yesterday. As far as we know, to the specifications of the bid, the contractor, which was Quadri. So if there's nothing else from anyone, I declare this hearing closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Good evening, everyone. I now call this meeting to order. Will you all please rise? Eddie will lead us in prayer.
Lord, we just want to thank you for all the many blessings you bestowed upon us, and just want to thank you for allowing us the opportunity to gather here tonight, and ask that you be with the board members tonight and to help them to make the best decisions for our town. In your name we pray. Amen.
Please join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will now have a roll call for quorum.
Alderman Martin?
Here.
Alderman Yarber?
Here.
Alderwoman Coulter?
Here.
Alderman Perry?
Here.
The quorum has been established. I now ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Make that motion?
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Agenda approved. The first item of business is the minutes from the November meetings, the 12th, 14th, and 19th. I ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
Make that motion?
Is there a second?
I'll second
Any discussion or questions? If there's no discussion, then I call for a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Minutes have been approved. Next order of business is the presentation of the claims report. The first part in your packet from November 1st to November 30th, that is what has already been paid. The second part is the claims report, which shows invoices paid already. The 40,000 is the payroll that has been out. The 99,000 is what is scheduled. All of it is within the realm of the purchasing policy, except for
That's in the second bunch?
the second bunch, yes.
Okay.
Were there any questions on the first bunch? No.
So, these.
We need to let me finish my
I'm sorry.
explanation and then we'll go from it. The first part, they were already approved and paid
Okay.
for November. The second part is the claims report, the claims that are scheduled. And all of that goes under our purchasing policy as far as what needs to come before the council or what has already been approved, except for the G-Works invoice for the $25,600, and it will be on page 2. And that will be addressed in our number 8 on the agenda. And as the next to the last page, I believe it is, shows, that's what I was referring to. When it says paid, the 40,000 is the payroll. Is the only thing that has been paid. The 99,000 is scheduled to be mailed out. They are ready to be printed and mailed, or ready to be printed. And this would complete the November invoices. It's
Oh,
page
wait a
28.
minute. Okay. Let's go on page to page here. Yeah, it confused me because at the top it says from 12/1 to 12/6.
That's what we posted, 12/1 to 12/6, the rest of the November invoices that had not been paid already. Because our treasurer accounts payable is working on getting a definite schedule, so our payments, the ones that reoccur every month,
Right.
so that we're up to date, and it is definitely a work in progress.
And so they total to be 140,000, am I reading that right?
Yes,
Plus
which
the-
includes the 25,000 plus whatever was, you're talking about the total for the November invoices.
Right.
Right.
Because you had 289,9, 290,
And you got
and then the 140, which includes that 26,000, 25,000. Then, behind that is the Missouri Electric Commission invoice, which is something that we have every month,
right.
which the power purchase was a 181,768.30, and then we have the relief payment and the reserve funding payment.
So the bills come up to 631,000. Right?
I'm just going to do real quick. We have 290, then 182 for the electric, and 140. That's 532. Includes that 26. Well, I guess you still have to add the other 10,000 or 18,000 in there. We're looking at 290 plus the 140 plus the 201 is the total for the electric. That the $25,600 for G-Works will be considered a December invoice. It will not be a November invoice.
Oh, okay.
So if we take that, that's 631,
Right.
but we really need to take the 25 off of that, so it's like 606.
And on our Treasury Connect report,
Yes.
all of our taxes has not been added through that yet.
Yes, 12/6, they came in 12/6, so that 544 includes the December taxes that came in. That's the treasury report, you have the,
They are-
but if you're looking at, you know,
So we
the
really,
MUPA invoice has already been taken out. The
the 289 or 290,000's already been taken out of the account.
290 is already out, the
Okay.
MUPA invoice, the 201, 118 is already taken out. So less any of the December invoices, the checks that haven't cleared yet, which there should be very few of them, although the November has not been reconciled yet. So out of this 544, you're looking at the 140.
Okay.
But then that MUPA invoice and some of the other payments that will be scheduled later in the month still come out of that, so.
The 200.
Yes, yes. The two other ones already out, but there'll be another one coming right away. And,
Did we ever, I mentioned this to you, but did we ever check on, and I still don't understand it, and I know that there might be a simple reason for it.
about the 1% being different, or the half cents being different. I haven't found out a reason yet. I have found a contact with the taxation and have been in contact with them, but I don't have any answer. But they are so very close, but not exact. What she's talking about is a half cent additional on the general sales tax. Like for December was $26,020. Well, a half cent tax for transportation for December was $24,554. So we're wondering why the half cent sales tax for general purpose and the half cent sales tax for transportation
Well,
would be
even
the
the-
same.
Even a 0.5%
Cent for the parks is different also.
Park and recreation for the year, that's 328,000. And a 0.5% on additional tax, is sales tax, is 351,000. So, I just would like to know the reason.
Yeah, well, we've asked, we haven't got it yet, but we have.
But you do see why I asked.
Yeah, yeah.
We could use that 30,000.
Because I have located all of the ordinances and how they read for general purpose for transportation purposes, but there doesn't seem to be any distinction about the 0.5% of what. So, and the motor vehicle tax report, we don't get that until later in the month, the deposit, so we don't know what December's is yet for that.
Excuse me, I just want to, I'm looking at the report, and we must have run the report before I made the Launders payment, so the Launders payment isn't on here. That was 17,000.
It's not in there?
It's
yet?
not, no. We ran this on Friday morning.
Is that for December or November?
November.
And that's the one that we're trying to get up to date because it's due on the first, or is that the
No,
one?
that one's okay.
This one's okay. We've got that one then. So, what was it, 17,000 for loggers?
Yes, kind of 17 plus, maybe 17, 1 or 2.
This is still a work in progress, but we are making great strides, I believe, to get it in a more legible, concise report.
Well, it just like, I'm used to this, with the checks, what is paid, it's always said transaction report up here. And that's why it don't take much to confuse me.
Well, this one with the checks, claims report,
Right.
still gives you the check number. These checks haven't been run yet, that's why there's nothing on there. This is the claim. Okay. This is being presented to you, there's really nothing in this claims report that is specific for council approval, but I do ask your acceptance, approval, whatever you want to call it, for the claims report. Claims as presented, the whole financial report as presented, I guess is what I'm asking for. Do I have a motion?
I make that motion to approve accept the financial, or the claims report, excuse me.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussions or specific questions on anything? We can get you the answers. I don't have my little backup for the invoices with me tonight.
On the ones that was paid, at the very first part of it, it says police department telephone, 1,100. And I guess there's two of them, 2,318 for the police, and that was taken out of admin. It should have been taken out of police.
We'll check it out.
Okay.
It's one of those US Cellular things. that-
And on, it confused me too, on, some of these departments, like the senior citizen department, it's got payroll for 4 people, and there's only 3 that works there. Is there a reason?
Well, it's not payroll for 4 people, it'd be 4 payrolls.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm,
Is that what you,
yeah. So do they
but
get,
that's, see, one payroll from 11/7, 11/14, 11/21, 11/27.
oh, so that's for each week?
Yes.
Well, let me wake up.
Okay, so we
Okay,
need
I see
to
what
check
it's
out
doing.
the,
That's what we asked for.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, I don't know why I put just a person on each one of those checks.
Yeah, I've been there.
because
It just gets
Well,
worse
our
and
pay-
worse.
because the,
Lots of stuff to look at there.
yeah, because the way the payroll works is
Yeah.
different than,
I got
because
it.
we have a
It's just
total
me.
of payroll and then it's broken out by department.
Right,
So you
Okay.
would just,
I was just looking at it wrong. Do we have Brightspeed down at the airport? And what does that consist of?
I'd have to get that whole thing up because our accounts payable treasurer has audited Brightspeed and US Cellular and Granite, which are it's the same account, yeah. Well, she was cleaning up several of that, so we would have to get that report. And I brought that last time, so we've gone over that already. But I will bring it up again.
See, I'm trying to cover up from that payroll.
Brightspeed at airport. In fact. Brightspeed, yes. The annual budget for the airport is $1,630. $135.38. Now, I would have to go back and see specifically why those two were on there like that, but I imagine it is from the work that she did.
Okay.
Because like I said, these have been audited and attached to the right department. Some lines had to be removed. But we do have Brightspeed at there. Okay, so other than the US Cellular, the police department.
That's what I was gonna ask about, but you already explained it, that on the payroll, so. Okay.
And on US Cellular. Okay, this US Cellular Police Department, I don't know why, well, police is under admin, that's why.
Oh, well, when you come down here, shouldn't it be in there? No, it wasn't?
We'll have to check that one out. But the police, US Cellular, this is 15 lines total, 2 phones and the rest are hotspots. And it's $10,796.52 for an annual amount, just information thrown out there.
Because this is,
So your question, that should be a line item of 15 instead of 10.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
In the correct department, or correct fund, not the department. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I,
I didn't hear 4 ayes.
I,
Okay. Claims report, the invoices, the treasurer report, all financial report right now has been approved. Thank you. Now we're to the department reports. And I'd like to note here that these department reports and the safety meetings that they have, in previous years, the employees have enjoyed a safety dinner and safety bonuses that are not available this year due to lack of funds.
I was gonna could have asked you, Eddie, the street light on First Street, Main Street, did it work after they put it back on the bill?
Yeah, I didn't hear that they had to replace it. I mean, it was working when it came off. So, yeah, they
I
didn't
just
say they had to
wondered if
replace
it-
it. I think they just had to slide it back on and tighten it back on.
And these are department reports, so there's really nothing to approve. This is information for all of you. Do you have any questions?
Some of them do right. I can't really read it, but type it.
Eddie will be happy to translate.
On what?
I'll try.
I just
If
made.
you have any questions on any of the
Right.
department reports, let us know.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen some of the handwriting.
Question,
Yes.
I was looking at the
Do you have a
sanitation.
question? Let me, please, so I can speak to you.
On the sanitation department, okay, it says they come in to empty some commercial dumpsters as well, okay, scheduled day off in addition to the normal trash route, as well as coming in to empty commercial dumpsters. Okay, does the commercial dumpsters, they get charged anymore when somebody, I mean, we get charged more. The city has to pay them overtime or comp time to come in to empty their dumpsters.
Oh, so you're talking about like on holiday or?
Yeah, that's what it says here.
So it was always my understanding that if it was a scheduled pickup, that they didn't get paid double time for it because it was already scheduled. It was
Okay,
just part of it. So that they come in and run the commercial route and they go home, what I understand.
do we know anything about the international truck yet? It says, see if it needs new injectors or an engine rebuild.
I have not heard any updates on it.
Okay.
And since I know that you have all read these in detail already, we will move on to number 4, unless there's any other questions on this report. Okay. Number 4 is to open the pest control bid. We only have one very much needed service in all of our buildings. Okay. We had a 2025 pest control services bid sheet. Okay, City Hall, library, police station, shop and maintenance, senior center, fire station 1, fire station 2, golf course pro shop. Okay, senior citizens is monthly. Golf course pro shop, monthly in summer. Recycling center, monthly. Community center, monthly. Airport terminal and control building, Veterans Park brick building, and the wastewater treatment building. If it is not noted monthly, then it is being bid for quarterly. For a total of $390. And I assume this is $30 each time. So if it's $30 a month or $30 a quarter. That's the way it is on this bid. So, that would mean three monthly, so that's gonna be 30 times 12, so that's $360 for the ones that are monthly, golf course monthly in summer, so we're talking April through like 6 months, another 6, 180, so if we do say 6 months for the golf course. So then that's 9, that would be quarterly. So another 270. This would be the bid sheet just reads $30 for each of those 13 for $390, but that would not be the way this worked out.
That per month? No, 13 total.
There's 13 different sites.
Right.
3 of them are monthly,
So that means.
so that's the that's
360.
36. That's gonna be 180.
Who is?
Who's the bid on this? All pest and.
All pest and termite.
He said that
Eddie, will you-
he called me yesterday and asked if he needed to be here because he had a meeting in Branson. But he said if we had questions or, something quick, that he would be available by phone call if need be.
Okay,
I don't know why.
maybe you can interpret this, but
Yeah, I would
we
think.
need to come up with a total here.
Okay.
We're not getting it. Okay, if we have 13 sites, 3 of them are monthly, plus the golf course is gonna be monthly. Then the other 9 sites are gonna be quarterly.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
So his $30 is for each time that he comes,
I would
correct?
say, and you want me to call him and verify that?
If you can.
Okay.
I don't want to write on this bid sheet, but
We got what?
we've got 9.
My question is why did he just do a total? What it was gonna cost us?
He's just got a total of
Yeah,
390.
390. He's just,
Well, 390, let's do it.
I don't think that's what we're interpreting here.
So we got
It is, we only have one bid, and it is from All Pest and Termite.
36.
Okay. So we've got 13.
That's $108. And then how many do we have this?
Okay, let's back up here. We have 9. We have 9 that are quarterly, so that's 3 times 9, that's 18.
270.
It's 270.
I'm just counting times now.
Okay, all right. I've got him on the phone and I'll put him on speaker,
Okay.
so hopefully it's loud enough for everybody can hear. Okay, you're on speaker, Jeremy.
All right, hello.
Hello?
Hi, this is Mayor McCann. On your bid, you've got $30 on each one of these line items. I'm assuming that that means $30 for each time that you go to each location, whether it's monthly, quarterly, or, well, that's it, or the, or by request?
Yeah, that's the way I understood it, yes, that's the way it was before.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
you mean in previous years? Okay.
Correct. I know
So,
that they were all quarterly, basically, except for a couple of them, which was, the recycle center, I think was monthly, right?
we have anywhere that there's food or the trash, the senior center, recycle center, and the community center would be monthly, plus the pro shop in the summertime, which would be no more than 6 times.
Okay, so yeah, it would be 30 per month then on those.
So it totals up to be $390 a year?
well, it would,
No.
so if you figure
It'd
that
have to be
right,
$390
it would be, so
a
on
quarter
order
plus.
quarterlies, it'd be 30 times 4.
Right. Right,
So it'd be 120, correct?
right.
So each one of your quarterlies would be 120 per year.
And we got how many of them?
9.
Okay.
So we've got four, okay, we've got 3 monthly year
That's the
round.
1080.
And then we've got the golf course, which is monthly, half the year, quarterly, the other half. So, yeah, we could figure that. That'd be easy enough to figure out. So,
Yeah, I mean, since the last time that we bid on that, it was a little bit different schedule, I think, on a couple of them. The only
yeah,
thing that was monthly was, the senior center, I think,
yeah.
which I agree, the recycle needs to be monthly,
Yeah.
I mean, for sure.
There's 3 sets.
Mayor, if I figured it right, it'd be 2250 for the year,
For everything.
for everything, if I figured it right.
I'd say you probably did. That sounds pretty close.
Okay, it doesn't say on this, and I guess maybe we didn't ask for it, but what specifically pest control services? I mean, this includes anything?
Well, no.
Mice, bugs?
Yeah, so insects, your general insects, your ants, roach, spiders, that's the main things. I mean, it will not include termites or fleas. I think we went down there and hit wasps before for Eddie, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, mice, we'll hit those. But, you know, it's not gonna include everything. Termites and fleas, that's a completely different service. That's a lot bigger.
Most insects and mice.
Sure, yeah. All your general stuff, your normal stuff.
Okay,
Yeah, we've done it, we've had that bid for about 10 years consecutively, for as long as I can remember. I think we've only had problems with roaches, ants, and, you know, I don't even know if we've even been told about spiders. Usually it's roaches or ants and mice.
okay. Do any of the council members have more questions for, is this Jeremy Sullivan that we're talking to?
It is, yes.
Okay,
No, I don't.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I
now,
figured 2340, what'd you come up with, Ed?
I come up with 2250.
Okay, we've got to add more to the pro shop, so if we say the pro shop is quarterly plus
6 months out of
2
the year.
quarters,
it's monthly.
yeah.
And then 2
six-
quarters.
6 months and 2 quarters.
Right, that would be 180 and 60, 240.
So the quarters are 1080 and 240. And then we have 36, the 3 that are monthly, so that's 36.
So that comes up to $2,500 a month, I think.
Okay. It's,
So
Well, irregardless, we will come up with the money, but it's gonna be $30 each time that they go into a location.
right.
And all of these out of these 13 locations, they're all quarterly except the senior center, recycling center, and community center will be monthly. The golf course will be 2 quarters and then 6 months in the summer,
Right.
or whatever the total
What
comes
about
out.
swimming pool? Did we even figure that, or does it need to be sprayed on the,
I don't think they had any issues this year, and they never have in the past. So
I just,
didn't have
because
that.
they serve
But
food is
that's-
the only thing I was asking.
Yeah, but that being the case, if we do have an issue, we know that it's gonna cost us about $30
Right.
if we
Yeah,
have.
Or any additional location request or time will be $30. Okay,
And that's the only bid we got?
that's the only bid that we got.
These dumpsters are everybody else's.
Well, we had somebody else this past year that came in and told me that he had a contract, but he never showed up with the contract.
Avon Pest Control or something.
Okay, so, all right. I ask for a motion to approve the pest control bid at $30
Per visit.
each visit. Yes, each visit. To all pest and termite,
For each location, you gotta put that up.
for each location, or each service. It would be each service, whether it's monthly or quarterly.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'd second that.
Please do a roll call vote.
Alderman Martin?
Aye.
Alderman Yarber?
Aye.
Alderman Coulter?
Aye.
Alderman Perry?
Aye.
Thank you. We will award the pest control services bid to all pest and termites.
So that's $30 for each department per visit.
Yeah.
Each location per visit. Okay. Next is an ordinance amending City Code 69.100 regarding utility disconnection. And this is just to correct some wording of the previous wording is, it's about all users shall be billed monthly, and it had just been updated to include the 10% of the total amount being the delinquent assessment rather than $10. We had done that in July. However, the last two sentences or three, if any bill continues to go unpaid after 4:30 p.m., the business day before the shut-off date listed on the utility bills, the service to that account will be subject to disconnection. A $40 reconnection fee shall be assessed after all disconnections. Well, the practice has been, if it's not been paid the end of the business day prior, then it goes on a cutoff list the next morning. We've had several people that will come in and get it paid before the crew ever gets out to do any disconnections, and they're still charged that $40 fee. But the wording says after disconnection. So the new ordinance that I'm going to ask Jessica to read will assess that as a fee. It will not state after disconnection, so that the wording is what we're doing.
So, in other words, if it's not
Let her-
disconnected,
Let her read.
Bill 1417, ordinance number 1765. An ordinance amending the city code section 69.100, billing procedure for the city of Mountain View, Missouri. Whereas ordinance 1758, passed on July 9, 2024, includes unclear language regarding the $40 connection fee. Therefore, be it ordained by the Board of Aldermen of the city of Mountain View, Missouri, the chapter 69 of the city code of ordinances be amended as follows. Section 69.100, billing procedure. All users shall be billed monthly. Payments are due when billings are made. Any payment not received by the 15th of the month shall be delinquent. Any delinquent bill shall be subject to a late payment penalty equal to 10% of the total amount owed. If any bill continues to go unpaid after 4:30 p.m., the business day before the shut-off date listed on the utility bills, the service to that account shall be charged a fee of $40 and will be subject to disconnection.
Because they come in that morning, and don't get shut off because they paid their bill. Because the girls in the office call the crew and say, oh, it's been paid, you don't have to shut them off. But they're still charged the $40 for a reconnection fee when there wasn't any reconnection.
but they also charge 10% for a late payment, right?
Right. That's the 10% up until the shut-off date. After the shut-off date, they get $40 assessed.
The 10% is after the 15th. The payment is due by the 15th if they don't
I
pay it by
understand
then.
that, I'm just,
So that-
Because the ones that come in that next morning are getting charged that $40 reconnection fee. It's not a reconnection fee. They're getting paid that, or charged that fee when utility hasn't even been disconnected yet.
So should they be that, do you,
Yes, they should still be assessed that, either we assess the fee after the shut-off date, or else when they come in and pay it, their electric's gonna still get shut off. Or we don't accept payments, and the electric gets shut off, and then they have to come in, but that's sending our crews out twice. So this way, the 10% is after the 15th. The $40 fee is assessed after the shut-off date.
The $40 is gonna be charged if they don't. It doesn't matter whether they've got there to hook it back, whether they've got there to turn it off or to whatever. The $40 after the 4:30, if it's due
Right,
on
because
the.
that's what we're doing now, is charging them a reconnection fee. When
Oh,
they
okay.
pay it and it never got
Oh.
disconnected in the first
Okay.
place.
I
so
got you.
that's the way it's reading, that it's a
That's,
disconnect?
yes, we're not doing
Okay.
it. It says a
Gotcha.
$40 reconnection fee shall be assessed after all disconnections.
You're just wanting
If
to
they
do-
come in that morning, they're still charged that
So-
$40, they just don't get it.
So they're complaining
Disconnected.
that it's not disconnected, so they shouldn't be charged a disconnection
Well,
fee.
some of them do, but
So basically,
You know,
removing the word reconnection,
They're
correct?
turning into a.
we're turning it into a $40 fee. They'll still be subject to disconnection if they don't pay it.
Right.
Right,
They don't pay their bill and come in, but we can't charge a $40 reconnection fee shall be assessed after all disconnections when no disconnection has occurred.
That ever done?
Okay,
that's reasonable.
we're getting
Is
this,
that right, Lisa? You got a funny look on your face.
Yeah,
Well, I can see you have to take that word disconnection, because they will be correct.
they'll still be subject to disconnection if they don't pay their
Right.
bill and the $40, but they'd have to pay the $40 anyway.
Cheaper than how we're gonna charge it.
Well, yeah, it is a lot cheaper.
They'll pay your bill.
Okay,
Okay,
I ask for a motion to approve ordinance 1765.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Does this have to be read to us?
The resolution does not have to be read.
Oh, I thought it was an ordinance.
Oh, this
It
is
is
an
an
ordinance. I'm sorry. We need a
Well,
second.
we need to take a vote on the first reading.
Yeah, we got to vote on the first reading.
and then read it again and do a vote again.
Right.
Line
Yeah.
second, first reading.
This is the first reading.
So Calvin made a motion.
Eddie seconded. Eddie did.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
Seconded.
Wrong Eddie.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the first reading? Roll call vote.
Alderman Martin,
Aye.
Alderman Yarber,
Aye.
Alderwoman Coulter,
Aye.
Alderman Perry.
Aye.
First reading, ordinance 1765 has been approved. We will now have the second reading of ordinance 1765.
Bill number 1417, ordinance number 1765, an ordinance amending the city code, section 69.100, billing procedure for the city of Mountain View, Missouri. Whereas ordinance 1758, passed on July 9th, 2024, includes unclear language regarding the $40 reconnection fee. Therefore, be it ordained by the Board of Aldermen for the city of Mountain View, Missouri, that Chapter 69 of the City Code of Ordinances be amended as follows. Section 69.100, billing procedure. All users shall be billed monthly. Payments are due when billings are made. Any payment not received by the 15th of the month shall be delinquent. Any delinquent bill shall be subject to a late payment penalty equal to 10% of the total amount owed. If any bill continues to go unpaid after 4:30 p.m., the business day before the shut-off date listed on the utility bills, the service to that account shall be charged a $40 fee and will be subject to disconnection.
Do you have a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance
I'll
1765?
make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call vote.
Alderman Martin,
Aye.
Alderman Yarber,
Aye.
Alderwoman Coulter,
Aye.
Alderman Hood.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, the next item of business is the Missouri Ethics Commission required filing. We have an ordinance that has to be updated every 2 years, which we did back in August, that addresses conflicts of interest and the requirement for personal financial disclosures. And section 3 reads, each elected official, candidate for elective office, the chief executive officer, and the chief purchasing officer are the ones that this ordinance requires those personal financial disclosure filings. The city clerk has to update that listing every year, which she has access to the commission. But what you have in your packets is what each of you need to do. And that you deal with the Missouri Ethics Commission directly on this. So that is just information. If you have any questions, you can contact the clerk and she will gladly assist you. Or call the Ethics Commission. There is a number somewhere, well, in fact, yeah, you got your guide back here. So, are there any questions on that? Okay. The next item is the Sunbelt Solomon invoice. This is for the transformers that the contract was approved back in September, but we need to approve this. Need you to approve this invoice so it can be paid, and it looks like there's still two pole mounts that are, I guess, on back order more or less. They were not, so that'll be another $2,700. But that is what that contract was approved for back in September. So I request a motion to approve this $29,900 payment to Sunbelt.
I would make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions or discussion?
They've been delivered,
Yeah.
except for the two.
Yeah, all the two, yeah.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Invoice has been approved. Thank you. Now to address the G-Works renewal. G-Works is this, our financial system. And in previous years, 2023, the cost for this service was $15,822. In 2024, it was $16,350. For 2025, it's going to be $25,600. And they are moving out of Simple City into the cloud. Time-wise, we don't have any option to get anything else in here by January 1. But we do want to explore, and the city clerk has been in touch with a couple of companies in other cities as to what they're doing. A lot of people are leaving G-Works. Their implementation and onboarding, as they call it, by signing this, it would guarantee for 2026 the same amount of $25,000. At this point in time, we don't have any option but to continue with them. But I do want to strongly suggest that we pursue looking at other options.
then a council request the city clerk look into that, and then later on, next year, bring it to us, what we can.
Oh,
do.
yes, and I'm hoping that maybe by, maybe July,
That's what
you
I'm
know, we
saying.
can change in the middle of the year or something. Because in speaking with the auditors, since so much has not been done in G-Works since June of 2022, one of their options was for us to create new companies, as they call it, or the banks, in G-Works to, you know, proceed. So there's just a mess with our computer system. We've been working diligently trying to at least keep 2024 going forward and finding out what is required to correct 22 and 23, and it's really frightening. So I ask at this time that that you approve this 25,000 so that we can continue with G-Works, because our license, every day that you click on Simple City, it's telling you how many days till your license is out, which December the 31st is out. So again,
Question,
yes.
do we need a cemetery management annual fee of $1,800 on that? I mean,
This is all going to the cloud and everything. This
yeah,
is,
no, but what I'm
yep, that's
asking
not
is,
the, pardon?
okay, what I'm asking here is this, is the total is 25,000. They're saying here, G-Works annual subscription of 19,000. And then they're about below that, 3,600 for operations hub. Below that, $1,200 for court management. Below that, $1,800 for cemetery management. What I'm asking is can we just take the 19,000?
This is when we're moving to the cloud, that is a proposal. We haven't even gone there yet as to what we will be doing when they go on board, because that's not gonna happen January 1. The new stuff with G-Works is not going to happen.
Well, are we
Becky?
paying for this in G-Works now, on
Yes.
this cemetery? We can't pull that out of there?
We do have information in that module. So in order for us to have all of the information that we currently have onboarded to the new program, if we don't get that, we won't be able to carry that information over.
And see, this, the back part of this is we have to sign up for whatever these options are by March 15th, even to get it implemented for moving it, let's say July, August, even September maybe. No, it has to be September. We talked to them, the last that we talked to them, because it takes onboarding is what they're calling it, we need to change it. So right now, we would be paying $25,600 for what we've got now. But it would guarantee that we could get the new cloud whenever they could get us changed over.
I know we don't have no choice but signing it, because you can't get it.
No, and we only got this in the latter part of November, so.
But are they gonna reimburse us some back if we get out of it in July or
We
August?
haven't gotten that far with them yet.
So we have no options. We can't pick and choose. But if we sign this, we can get this price for 2 years, but we're going to try to move on to find something different before the next year.
That is my understanding.
Doesn't lock us into anything.
That the 2026 would not be locked in, though, it'd just be that price if we choose to continue on.
Right, you
Okay.
can choose to go with the cloud. I'm hoping that we can bring something back to you before the March deadline. That's my
Yeah,
settlement goal.
The other thing that they're doing with this is they're not charging us onboarding fees of $5,000 to take our information and transfer it over. If we don't agree to this, that would be an additional $5,000 charge. They're also, the way our modules are set up now, they're taking some of them and combining them into a different thing. So as far as the, and I don't have it written down, but like the cemetery management, they might actually put that in with another module that we actually like really use in depth. And that's just another way to, you know.
And one of the big things is that what they would have in G-Works now for previous years to move over is so incorrect, because the reconciliations, even though some of them were done by hand with the auditors, you know, like the outstanding on G-Works goes back 20 years. So there's gonna be a big problem with that. So we don't know what all the problems are going to be.
Okay, come March, I mean, they want their money. And my thing is this, if we pay them, we're gonna have a really hard time come March, getting our money back out of them if we decide to go elsewhere. Is that
Well,
what
but
you're
if we
saying?
don't pay this, we won't have any system
Well, I
after
understand
December
that, but what I'm
31st.
also understanding is this, is
So-
you said that by March of, hopefully next year, you will have another option, we will have
Right.
another option.
But if we've got an option even, couldn't be implemented probably until September, October. So in my opinion, we've got a year from now. There's no way that we're gonna get moved off of it. We could get new software or a new software company and have it for 26 even, would be better than what we've got now.
Well, yeah, okay, I mean, that's, so you're
So
saying
this
that
is what,
just,
9,000?
they raised it $9,000 on us
Yes.
in 1 year.
Right.
They're planning on us not coming back. I'll almost guarantee.
It seems like it does.
I mean,
Well,
if you raise
but
something
you've got-
9,000 in 1
Right.
year,
Oh, but you gotta remember all the information that they have, and when we leave here, we're gonna have to pay a big price to even have access to that to look at. You can't work in it, even to look at it.
So the other side of it is that they are doing away with Simple City. Their support staff for Simple City is skeleton, and that's what we have now. And that is the reason it's taking us so long to get responses from them, is because they only have a skeleton crew, because they have moved towards the cloud, and, you know, other cities have moved towards the cloud as well. So they've already started that, but they never notified us that this was mandatory until November, end of November.
And they're telling us that this software is so old, they can't hire engineers or agents to service because they don't know these old programs. They won't work on these old programs. So, that's what it is. So, need a motion
So
to
when does-
approve this payment.
When do we have to make this payment? At the end of,
Oh, it has to be made now, so they have it before the 31st.
In the end of December.
okay, my question is, okay, from what you just said, we bought this last year, for this year. Okay, did they not update, you said that the software is too old for them to do anything with. Did they not update our software at that time when we gave them $16,000?
No,
Well, there are periodic updates.
to the
This-
whole Simple
I
City,
think,
yes,
I
but
think
not.
this program was started in 1978,
I understand,
and so they've updated along the way,
sure,
but again, it's still based off the original program. So what they told us was that when they are trying to hire new programmers and things like that, nobody wants to work on this. It's too old. They want, you know, the new type of software and things like that,
with them.
which they went, yeah.
okay, I must admit, I'm still puzzled, because if I go to Walmart and I buy a computer, and it's got Windows 42 on it, and then it comes up with a deal that says you get Windows 43, bang, you punch it in, we paid $16,000 and we did not get an update on our
We didn't pay
system.
$16,000 for any update, we paid $16,000 just to have the
Just to have it.
simple city system at all.
And so that's all we're gonna get here. In other words,
Correct.
we're not getting an update, we're
No,
paying $25,000 just to keep what we have.
That's
And,
right.
and we won't have no people that will be there to answer questions. Because, well, it's been that way for the last 4 years. It has.
It's been very, very subpar.
They have no
They started
support.
their new program 3 years ago. But with all the notices that we've received, it just says, hey, you know, like, look at what we have to offer. It never said we're moving there, this is mandatory, like, there was just nothing ever. It was just another option.
You know, our hands are tied, so
They really are.
definitely are.
I'll make a motion. I hate to, but I will.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call vote to approve payment for this G-Works invoice.
Alderman Martin,
You have to start with me. Aye.
Alderman Yarborough,
Lisa.
Aye.
Alderwoman Coulter,
Aye.
Alderman Perry,
Aye.
Thank you, Will, we'll work as diligently as we can to resolve this.
Yeah, I'm not, no, I'm
So
not.
it's-
My thing is, I'm not blaming anybody or anything else, I just think it's kind of aggravating that, it's just like she said, 3 years ago, they put out a new program. What happened 3 years ago? Why didn't we have that?
Oh, we have a lot of why
Yeah, I mean,
things
I'm-
happen and
Yeah, please don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming anybody, but I would have thought for that kind of money, we
Even
could have
before,
got it.
even before they advanced the program, 4 or 5 years ago,
well,
we
and
still didn't have no support on that.
the reports that we've been getting about people that have changed over to this cloud, their onboarding not working out exactly like it was supposed to. I don't know who it was, but didn't you say they were supposed to be in like April and here it is December and they're not yet?
Bill haven't, so they're going with another company because they've had time to do that since April. And they are requesting a refund but have no answer.
Well, we definitely gotta be out of it by this time next year.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, the next is Wreaths Across America, just an announcement. Hopefully, everybody knows that the Veterans Cemetery that the city maintains is the only designated veteran cemetery between Springfield and Poplar Bluff. And this National Wreaths Across America Day is nationwide. And the wreaths will be placed this December the 14th. And the wreaths are placed at 10:30. There is a ceremony that starts at 11. And I encourage all of you to honor our veterans. And the city of Mountain View should be very proud that they have the honor of maintaining that cemetery. The Chamber of Commerce Christmas activities is just a revised schedule from what you were given before. It does show at 4:30 on the 14th. A mayor's speech, I will not be available, and I have asked Alderwoman Coulter to be in my place to give the mayor's speech and lighting up the Christmas tree. Thank you very much. The next item is the CDBG survey that we do need to get out as soon as possible. I held off a little bit sending this out because the lead service line inventory went out to all of our accounts, and I did not want this to get confused with that. This is a random survey. The addresses are selected by CDBG. There are 200 addresses, I believe, on here. We must capture a total of 66 responses and get it turned into them in January. So this is going to have to go out, and we probably will have to do some individual follow-up if necessary. So this will be an expense for postage and some paper.
Is this to get our CD?
Yes, this is because we lost our eligibility for CDBG grants due to the low to moderate income level. Because we were at like 49%, 48%, and went up to 61, or I have that backwards, but
I think
it has to be
51 was the threshold. We got
greater than
49.
51.
So, yeah, it
Yeah,
needs to
we-
be at least 51 and a half.
Yeah, so we,
What kind of responses do you get back about the
the lead
lead
service
service
line,
line thing?
I inquired the other day, and he said that we had really a pretty good return on it. A lot more than what I was expecting. He's thinking we're probably at 70-80%. So,
Wow.
yeah.
And that is
I was-
really
I figured it
good.
would be good to see 30. Yeah, he was pretty
did
happy
he get
about it.
some that we didn't get in City Hall? Because it didn't seem to be that many.
Yeah, yeah.
And that
I would
was-
say he did.
Who got them?
Adam Cattell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Adam, this was part of that lead service line inventory contract that we sent out, which we weren't really aware of this part of it, that he was inventorying the city lines. Well, then part of that mandate was to contact the account holders to find out what kind of line they had in their homes, which lead pipes were ruled out in the city several years ago. So, and a lot of people don't know what kind of pipes they've got, but that was the whole intent of it was not to, find out somebody's business or find out how their home was built or whatever. If you knew, put it down. If you didn't know, just unknown. And if anybody knows that they've still got that survey and haven't sent it back in, we still want them, I gather,
Yeah, yeah.
but that was,
So we've got this on hand, City Hall, just getting ready to send out, or?
yes, it's all right here. I mean, a lot of it is computer generated and there's trackers and tabulation sheets and stuff. We just have to have somebody to help Eddie get it done, but we will. But that's what that is about. The next is a plan of action for the streets and water and sewer. I just wanted you guys to be aware of what the street department and the water and sewer department will be working on for the winter, because we know there's weather that's gonna keep them inside some days and outside in some even worse days. But I hope that you have read those reports. If you have any questions, Eddie again will be able to answer your question.
Why is it gonna take till May to get these water meters in?
Well, because they have to do that on top of their other normal jobs. And it's not gonna be a fast process. When it gets done, it needs to be done right. You got,
And it's my understanding that you've got books and the meters are in
yes, there's.
sections and you're doing
Yeah.
books at a time?
There's 10 books total, and the books are arranged in count number order. We read them in a sequence order. So we've got, one book that has all new meters and modules, but the two aren't hooked together yet. So we're gonna start with that book. If we have damaged modules, they'll change those, make the connections between the two, log the information, bring that information to City Hall. It can be input into the system, and when they get that one done, that book will be phased out, and they'll work on another book. We've got another one where we've got some modules in, a lot of modules in, but we don't have the new meters in yet. We've got another book that's got a lot of new meters, don't have the modules in yet. So it's a timely process, because each one of those lids has to be It has to have a hole cut out, put the new module in, and then go on from there, so.
When was this started? When were the first ones put in?
First ones were put in, I think, 21, and we held off because we didn't think the system was going to handle it, because we were having such a hard time just getting our electric meters read. That, I think it got up to, we had 70 or 80 electric meters that they still had to go out and read by, manually read, because it wasn't working.
In 21, they only put out, what, 4, 5, 6, just to see if it was gonna read in there
And-
installed?
And we were told that we were gonna have to have new lids as well. And that was gonna be another, was it $50 or $60 per lid or something?
Yeah,
It was
$40,000.
pretty expensive just with plastic lids. So I went out and picked like the farthest points out to see if they would work with the cast iron lids, and they did. But at that time, Vision couldn't keep up with our electric system. We thought if they can't keep up with our electric meters, why do we want to put in these Vision proprietary modules if they're not going to work? And come to find out, it's a good thing we didn't, because they basically recalled all those modules, sent us another new batch. So we do have some of them old ones in that are faulty. They're going to wind up having to change those out. But
I know I've seen them in people's yards, and that's sitting on top of there, and that water meter cap is up, and that's probably ones that gets run over by lawnmowers.
Could be.
Are they gonna lower some of them down to keep our modules from getting hit, or flag
We'll
it?
do what we can. Now, the new modules that they've come out with, they've changed the design on them. They're, the ones that we have right now, they've got that tall, thick cap on them. Now, the new modules are tapered off like the old touch read tops.
Okay,
So, now I say the new modules, we don't have very many of those style. The ones that we have are like the old style. So, I don't see, we won't have very many of the new fancy tapered off ones, but, I mean, we have what we have, we've already paid for them, we're gonna go ahead and get them in. Now that we found out that Vision, we've got better customer support with Vision than we've had in a long time. So, having that good communication there and that customer support has gotten our electric meters down to, I think they manually read like 4 or 5 now. So, and I've discussed it with the water department supervisor, and when we went AMI with the electric system, so I was reading the meters at the time. So, when I was a meter reader, they would, yes, I have been reading a few lately as well, but got to do some training. So back then, anything that was done meter related, whether it was water meter or electric meter, typically I was the one to do it, whether, if it was a manual on or off or a meter change out or something like that, I was the one that did it. Now, when we went AMI with the electric meters, once that was implemented, the electric department assumed all responsibility for the electric meters. And we're gonna do the same thing with the water department. Once all these meters and modules are put in and the information is logged into the system to where everything can be read from City Hall, then any change outs, anything like that will go through the water department, and the meter reading position will be phased out altogether. But it is gonna take some time.
But you think sometime in May? to
That's our goal. We've got a time, not really a timeline, we've got an order in how they're going to tackle these books and try and phase them out one at a time. So when they get one finished, the information gets entered, that's one less book the meter reader has to take care of until they're all done.
is the other departments gonna help out, try to get these in?
I had a plan I was gonna have 2 different teams working on it, and half of one of that team up quit. So, if they need assistance, I can try and peel someone off to help them. So, I mean, if need be, we can try and give them some assistance. Because I don't know, there'll be some days that and that's, Supervisor and I discussed, their primary job takes priority. You know, they can't say, oh, we can't work on a broken main today because we're changing out water meters. That takes priority. You know, their daily water samples or water tests and all that, that stuff takes priority. This is something, this is a project that's gonna take a decent amount of time to get done. We know it's gonna take time to get done because we know there's gonna be days where there may be some weeks where they don't even get to change any meters. All depends on what happens. You know, it's like this past 3 or 4 days, they had a few water leaks, you know, so we're doing what we can. It's gonna take them a little bit to get into a rhythm of it as well, so.
Okay, any further questions or discussion on that? The next item is the MIRMA 2002-03 payroll audit. Our Missouri Intergovernmental Risk Management Association, which includes all of our insurance, our personnel issues, they have a kind of a hold on us, but MIRMA required a payroll audit, which the audit itself will cost us a couple of $1,000s, which, again, it was something that had to be done. And then, after it's done and sent to MIRMA, because the payroll was underestimated, it added $392 to our assessment, which was already $205,000 that was paid back in June. So, just a requirement that had to be done. And we don't have the invoice yet for the audit itself. Are there any questions about this? Okay, next item is the budget. The first thing I want to address is the 2024 budget. Because if you looked at the budget report that was included in your packet here, it would be, it's several pages. Starts out budget report on page 1.
Page 1.
Yeah, or the one before it even,
This is right.
yeah, where the totals are. You know, the total budgeted revenue was over $8 million. And we brought in almost 7. So when you go to the budget report then that starts on page 1, I've noted a couple of things on there that were put in as budgeted revenue that we did not receive and never will receive. There was much more for the grants and like the $150,000 for that MoDOT entitlement fund. We do get that from MoDOT FAA every year, but we don't get that money. It's awarded to us, and there's a airport improvement project, which hopefully we'll get a lot of explanation to you on that next month in January, because they are starting on it. But what little revenue we received a reimbursement from that now is using 2018 and 22 funds that had to be used up by 25 and 26. So that $150,000 could not have been included, or should not have been included in, again, the police grants that was over projected. And our miscellaneous revenue, again, it was budgeted for 190,000. We brought in like 71.8 that has been attributed to miscellaneous. And in looking at that, back to the fines and forfeitures, the court fines and traffic violations and traffic fines were budgeted for about $30,000. Well, we have found that has been coded as miscellaneous revenue, so we haven't determined exactly how much that is, although the court has provided us with the reports, which, again, that will need to be audited, our miscellaneous revenue that goes in through our receipt management. And then there's the special projects, budgeted $631,781. We have no idea what that was for.
That was put in the budget, and I questioned it, and it was put in, and I think Eddie even told me that that was a grant that they was getting for the airport. And it was on their old budget, and the first budget I got said $10,000. The next budget I got from them, it said $641,000. And several people told me it was a grant on the airport, but it was in the expense, but it was never in the revenue. Or when you do grants, it has to be a wash. And so, but
We haven't received it and don't project to do so. The other thing that we will be taking up on this new budget, but again, showing on the current budget, on page 7, the electric fees bill. We have found where a rate increase was approved August of '23, but never implemented. But there's budgeted electric fees bill to be $3,549,000. Well, in the year-to-date balance, as of 11/30, is 2,651. There's a big discrepancy there. So those few items alone shows why we don't have an $8 million income as projected. And that's the 2024 budget. Now, the rest of the packet, starting with the budget worksheet, page 1. And I believe all of yours got stapled, mine are not, but there's an overview sheet, but the individual department worksheets are in front of you. We've detailed as much as possible. And the overview speaks for itself. I did, that box that's down at the bottom does show personnel services versus the operation and maintenance on the projected expenditures. And when you think about it, what revenue sources do we have? We have electric rates, and sewer rates, and water rates. We've got our sales tax and franchise tax. We can't live in 2024 off of a 2002 or 2006 or even 2008 budget.
I would like to see us get a line item, just like these expenses that we've got, like for admin, police department, electric, sewer, water, sanitation, any department that's got an income. It's just so much easier if we have just like these sheets, but have a revenue line item revenue, so we could see exactly where all the revenue's coming in on. And it just makes it real simple to, when you get all that information, to add all of that up and then take your expense off, and then it's just an easy find that way.
Well, if you look at your revenue budget report, it basically can tell you that. These are revenue, this budget report is revenue type, okay? It gives the general fund. And the system is set up that you have donations, fines, and forfeitures, grants type. If you look back at one of the financial reports, but see this pay-to-date balance is what came in November. The year-to-date balance is what came in since January. So, but the admin or general fund is the 01,
Right,
okay?
right,
02 is parks,
right.
10 is,
But when you got it out on a, line item like the expenses, then you can kind of compare, well, this year we got this much in, and why did our income go down here, or our revenue go down here?
which we can only work with how G-Works is set up for one thing. And the type of report,
Maybe I'm not explaining it right. Let me see.
if you've got a sample, let us see it.
Yeah.
But each department is in this report right here, or each fund, I'm sorry.
This is all the revenue we used to get. It should be right in there where,
This is the same budget worksheet.
it should, no,
Part
that,
12. Those are revenue reports.
right, well, yeah,
Well,
but that's what they.
It was-
yeah,
Okay, you're wanting it, let's see, it's basically the same thing, but you got it in line item number
Right,
order is
right.
what it is, it's not by, okay, that's a different type of report, but this is the same thing.
And that way you can just, I don't know, it's just so much,
But that's revenue.
right. And the same, and this was our
And
expense,
there's
just
no-
like what,
And there's no, see, there's codes on the bottom of this to know what type that is. So, we can look and see what we can come up with.
well, this was printed off here, and.
Yeah,
when-
we'll have to find where that came from. May I have one of those? May I have one of those? Sure.
Want the admin,
That'd be fine. And I have annualized that. So, since I know that you have
put this back in here, I'll get it mixed up with this one.
Okay. Are there any questions on these budget worksheets or on the overview? Now, this overview does include the projected revenue increase from the discussion that I've had with Eddie regarding this electric increase that was never implemented. an average would be 2.5 cents per kilowatt hour.
When is that gonna get implemented?
The council will have to implement it. You'll have to have a new ordinance.
But it's already been voted on by the other council.
Right, but what they voted on to pay what the, what the city was charged for it, which would change every month, which does not seem feasible at all. And is my understanding from discussions with Eddie that it was talked about being across the board an average, which would be 2.5 cents per kilowatt. And there was an option talked about that it would be, could be an alternate option of 2.5 cents per kilowatt above the first 1,000 kilowatt bill. I have lots of notes here, bear with me just a moment. As far as expenditures, major items, I mean, our departments don't ask for much. They've asked for so many years and are still asking for the same thing. Eddie, do you have anything that you want to address on any of these worksheets that we've gone over so
Well,
many times?
nothing to add. I mean, I feel like we went over them as close as we could, you know, I mean, it takes a certain amount of dollars to operate a department, you know, and if the city is gonna exist, it has to have utilities. Without utilities, we don't have a city.
Okay, the ordinance that I found was 1742, passed on the 11th day of July 23. And it reads on the electric rates. In addition to the above minimum and other listed compensation, the city of Mountain View, Missouri shall collect a purchase power adjustment on the sale of each kilowatt hour to each customer. For each cent increase or decrease, or major fraction thereof, in the city's monthly cost of purchased power of 0.07 per kilowatt hour in the most recent 3 months preceding the billing period. There shall be a correspondingly added to or subtracted from each customer's bill an amount equal to 1 cent or major fraction thereof per kilowatt times the total kilowatt hour billed to the customers on all of the above rates. But there was no adjustment to the electric rates whatsoever. And I think the last adjustment was back in 18 or something like that.
That was the last time they were changed, and they went down 10% then.
That's how the ordinance reads.
So you're saying that we have, this council has to go back through and amend all of that, or can it just be?
Well, first of all, I don't see how it's possible with the system that we have, that we could change the rates every 3 months. that's why,
Well, there was one to change every month.
The chart that you showed me is every month.
My understanding is on this, is that I was looking for our MPUA, is we notice that at the end of every month, we seem like we come up with 20,000, 30,000, whatever it is, and that is what they're wanting to address with the 1 cent is, in other words, over a 3-month period, we're gonna go like $60,000 less. So then what we need to do is, like right here, total transmission charge, total energy charges, total demand charges. Well, see up here, October demand charge paid by city, 93,000. Down here, we come up with 100,000, okay? So what they're wanting to do is address that. So in other words, the rates get raised, this was in December, was it, or November? Okay, this was December, was the dated, so that's for the month of November. So what they're telling us to do is to raise it for November to take care of the loss that needs to be addressed, okay? And then if December comes in at less than what was projected, then you drop the rate back down. But they're wanting to do it every 3 months, is that correct, Eddie?
Told every month, is what I was told.
Well,
districts, the average,
you know, more or less 1 cent. So at this point in time, if we're charging 2.5 cents, then that means we need to raise to 3.5 cents if we're coming in too low. But if we're coming in too high, or in other words, it's not spending that kind of money at 2.5 cents, we might need to go down 0.5 cent to the consumers. We're just wanting for the electric department at this point in time to make an average, and that's what they were saying there. That's my understanding. Is that what I'm understanding? That if we lose, in other words, if we're purchasing, you told me last year they purchased 30 million KWs.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, roughly. Okay. So at 30 million KWs, for what they paid, we paid them, we lost $60,000. They charged us more or less, whatever, $60,000. So we need to either raise or lower the rates monthly to adjust to that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're talking about. And I also understand where you're saying that 1 cent across the board is what basically it amounts to, but you're doubling that to 2.5 cents.
well, we got that off of,
That come off, that 2.5 cent come off this spreadsheet, and that actually come from the engineer. And yeah, a condensed version, yes. So, I can show you this, this, if you want to see it, it took me a while looking at it to make heads or tails. I took several phone calls with, VHMG engineers. So, they've got everything labeled out there,
Okay?
invoice,
See, they're saying here we have a 9.5% loss in January on electricity.
You've got
So
your-
the next month we need to raise it.
Well, that loss there is unmetered services, or unmetered, utilities like streetlights, whatnot, transmission, loss, line loss. Since we're a low voltage system, we're gonna be on the higher end of line loss. The lower the voltage, higher the amperage, more heat,
Okay?
voltage loss. So.
we
that
all
was-
need copies of that.
Yeah, you wanna go make a copy, that way everybody's got one.
Yeah, that way we can look at it while we discuss it.
Okay, while he's gone, is there any other questions that you have on these specific questions on the,
I did too.
the worksheets?
Okay, on this worksheet, we have, okay, on the electric, I see where it says projected increased revenue. Okay, did we do that on sewer?
Yes, the sewer revenue,
Because I don't have last year here to compare. In other words, I don't, let's see. Sewer, year to date, annualized 377.
and then there's the,
I see a 454 and a 426, which is,
okay, the 377, the sewer revenue, the 454, 488 includes the extra of, and Eddie needs to be here for that, but we took the calculation of the 1,140 users. Okay, we're back to the electric, and then we'll get to the sewer, and I'm gonna hand you this so you can explain that
Oh, thanks.
to them too.
I should have held these beforehand. Talking electric right now?
Yes,
All right.
this sheet that you
So
got.
now that you all have a copy, and all the same thing. So, this spreadsheet, I'm not real, I ain't gonna say I'm not fond of spreadsheets, I'm just not real fluent with them. But this spreadsheet, when you get to the last, next to, I guess it'd be column M, it's a little bit backwards. So you have the base cost of 7 cents. So if you take that base cost plus and add the purchase power adjustment to that, you end up with column K. So they're saying that is what it is costing us per month on average. So her solution to that was to add this purchase power adjustment price on top of the current rate structure that we already had in place.
So the 2.5 cents really is the average of
It's an average,
column M.
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So on this spreadsheet, you've got your invoice total, you've got your kilowatt hour purchases, you've got your, of course, billing month, your kilowatts sold, your monthly loss, your 12-month rolling loss adjusted purchases, and then your cost per kilowatt, and then your average cost per kilowatt.
So if we implemented that 2.5 cents now, we could do this same adjustment at 6 months or even at the end of the year?
For over
Because
on,
this is 23.
over on the right-hand side, you'll see in column P, if you figure that up, that's roughly what the difference we would see if we were to, I think it was our loss adjusted purchases.
So that's where you got that $600,213
Yeah.
for that.
Yes, you look down at the bottom, with those calculations, at the bottom would be 609,365.
So really, that's what we've lost if they didn't implement this in September?
Yeah.
My, oh my.
well.
That's what we
last
lost for
year
the
in
year
July,
of 23.
Yeah, and I hit McKenna for this last minute, so this isn't the most updated
Yeah,
stuff.
you
I
gotta
got,
take,
but-
what you gotta do here is they did it last year
Right.
in July, so
Yeah,
from
take it
July
from there.
to now, you
Yeah.
have to figure it, not January, February.
Yeah,
I
I don't know,
yeah,
you look at
it's
that,
been a
you figure
year.
almost 50,000 a month on
Oh,
that,
yeah.
on that
So
sheet.
it's still
Yeah,
add up to that.
that'd be right. Yeah, that's that 609, that is gonna be from January 23 to December, just for that year, roughly 50,000 a month.
that is a big hole. And you'd ask about the sewer. The annualized for the sewer was the 377. And then Eddie calculated the difference between the 26 and the 9 and the 10 and the 6 for the additional 40-some thousand.
No. Okay,
There's a difference of what,
that's the difference of 342,000.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I come up with.
Okay.
So I took on
Right.
the numbers that DNR was using for a spreadsheet at 4,047 gallons.
Well, what I was getting at is I don't see it anywhere on here. What
It's
I see-
included that 454, 488, the sewer revenue. The difference less the,
So it's gonna make 386,000, Eddie?
Actually, that was
but
old
you have,
rates.
Okay,
New rates was projected at 738.26 minus, let's see,
the third,
the
386.
343,928 is what I come up with, is the difference between old rates and new rates. So.
and then you have to take off what the
So your
old rates.
replacement schedule and your debt service out of this additional. So
Remember the appendix A for the,
This is old rates right
For
here,
the-
36. This is new rates, right here.
Right.
730. So, that 343,928 is the difference between the two.
So really though, this here sewer revenue should be the $730,000
Yeah,
Right.
that's total. Yeah, that would be total revenue.
for a year.
Yeah, and then you got.
but you gotta
out
take
your
your
debt service and then your
replacement,
schedule is what she went ahead
the
and.
400 and some,
You did
452
the
that goes in
60/30
operating.
out of that? Is that what you did, the 60/30?
Well, it's not really 60/30, it's what we
What?
put, what DNR required
Yeah.
on that. Yeah,
Okay,
it
that's
was
what I was
taken
wondering,
out of
because
that,
you-
that's the extra,
Yeah, I don't remember the exact number, like 219.
213
Or,
and 57.
And the
Those
five
figures
is-
you've always had.
Where did I do that figure? Too much.
You stay out of mine.
Okay. If, see, to me, I'm sitting here looking at this. Okay, electric, since that sewer was explained to me, okay, I got that. Electric on year-to-date 11/20/24 on our second page. We are at 2,700,000. Annualized, it's basically gonna be about 229.50, 2,900,050. Okay? But this was never implemented. And so how is it that we're going to end up? If you
The
implement-
electric, right now
600,000.
annualized is a 408,000 to the negative.
What I'm talking about is on the next page, right here, you have, there is electric, and then you go over here, annualized, almost $3 million,
Right?
okay?
Expenses at 3.3, the revenue 2.9, and then that projected increase would be another 600,000 for the 2.5 cents across the board. So it's all there on that overview.
I mean, how is it possible that we're even maintaining, with a loss of $400,000, even keeping electric? How are we even paying the bills if we're gonna have a $400,000 loss? And I look at the budget here, okay, and they did $8 million, for this budget of 2024, and that's almost identical to what we have for 2025 is 8 million. And yet, we're told that we're only bringing in 7.3 or 7.4, but we, once again, took it up to $8 million on the backs of electric, because the sewer is supposed to be used for nothing but sewer. And so how are we going to possibly come out the same way we did this year? There's $1 million shortfall for the
No.
year?
Projected like this, we will be 240,000 to the good overall.
But we don't have the 600,000, I'm talking about this year, on the projected shortfall.
This is the budget projection for 2025.
Exactly. I understand that. But beside that, we know that there was an $8 million budget projected for this year. Because it has it.
Yeah, it's 8.8.
Yeah. And so how is it possible that we're actually, to be honest, still even operating?
We're just barely operating.
Well, where's the other $1 million coming from? That's what I'm saying, is if we're only, if this is projected at 8.8 and we're only at 7.3,
I just told you what wasn't coming in for that 8.8. We brought in 6.7, it's annualized up to 7.3.
and those.
We're going to be over, well, we won't be over budget because there's 8.8 in that budget, but that's not correct.
I must admit, I am puzzled. I don't know how we can do.
That's why I would like to have the line item revenue, and then you can see where every bit of it comes in and where, then you look over to your expense, and you can see where it all goes out. You add up your revenue, you add up your expense, and it just
This is
really-
a projection, people.
Oh, I
This is
know,
a
I
projection.
understand that, and that other one is too. But I don't know how we're coming out, because admin is $515,000 in the red. Expenses, $2,587,000. Revenue coming in is $2,072,000. So that puts us $515 in the red. And that's like, I don't understand parks. The $26,000 to the good, and the last paper we got, parks is under, swimming pool is under, golf course was under. And I know we get a park and recreation tax of over $300,000 to use just for those three things. And on the sewer, I don't understand this, because then the sewer expense, shouldn't have that been for, as Calvin calls it, the 60/30, should that not have been added in those expense? Eddie, can I see that piece of paper where you said it was projected what the sewer would bring in?
I think, I'll get it back.
Oh, Oh, I thought you carried up here, you had it wrote out in handwriting.
It was, but it, I think it hurt.
It may be never to be found again. And it's
I could refigure it, but it'll take me a minute.
Here it is, right here.
Yeah, thank you.
Added to the 719. I just went on the load, and you added them together right here. And then, I don't understand what this is all
No,
about.
this, we got this way from that, and then it comes out to this. What is that pronounced?
Do you have any questions or comments from me?
Figure that out.
This,
Well,
this, what Eddie had figured up, taking the 1140 users and our current rate and the new rate,
yeah, I
and the
have,
difference between that was 343. Then we had to take off the 213, 458, which is the, what did you?
Is that the debt schedule?
The
That's
debt schedule, and the 57,749 was the replacement schedule. So out of that difference, that the increase would make, would be 72,488 would be the additional sewer, which is on this annualized sheet.
okay, what's our debt schedule on that? What do we,
That's our payment
Debt service.
on what?
on the $3 million.
Okay, I
Wastewater
understand, but
project.
that's not started yet,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, not until we,
That's what I said, that's why we wanted to start this now, to build a fund, so that when this did come along, and we had to pay all this, I mean,
and if we're not paying it out, then essentially it builds up.
right, that's what I said. Is that,
So that's the
okay, but
only-
I understand what you've done here, but also at the same time, to figure a budget, if we don't start paying this out until October,
Well, we don't know when it'll be paid out, so,
Yeah, we don't know, I mean, at this point, we don't know when.
but for our budget for next year, it couldn't be used anyway. That's the additional. We couldn't use that 213 or that 57. Because we have to be putting that 57 and that 452 in the bank now.
well, I guess I got confused on most of it
And
back
it's
there when we
72,
went
not
to this.
77.
When you, it's 375, and I knew what this was, and I know what that is, but that took us down below, that took us to 6748.
Yes, and that's what is included in all this back here. we're looking at, you know, income of
That's what it takes.
7.5.
That's what you guys gotta come up with.
So,
150 goes to the normal. Why don't you just take the number of people times the 24 and 40 million times the 6? That's your number, right?
this is our projection, for 7.4. And we tried to get the expenses down below that 7.4, and this is what we've come up with.
On this
And when you
one,
think about reducing anything,
9, yeah.
where can you cut any more out?
40 million times 9 is 2060, and you take your 340, you got your 700. That all goes to them. You can't use that.
This right here, is that projected? Is that what it is?
These worksheets?
Right, all these,
That stays.
Yes,
says
this is the
eleven
expenses.
twenty-four physical, 1124.
They have your pages mixed up, but yes, those are all stapled by
Yeah, street,
department or fund, yes.
admin, community center, airport.
They were in account fund order though, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I looked through them.
There's pages 1 through 70.
Okay.
on the senior center, you had us a note on the
Yes.
501c3.
Deidre, can you address that, please?
What is
The
it?
senior center being a 501(c)(3),
The 501c3. So it's my understanding that whenever it was created, the senior center was not a city entity. And so a nonprofit organization was created for the senior center, making it a 501c3 nonprofit charity. It then got brought into the city and became a city entity, but apparently that 501c3 designation was never dropped. So right now they are operating as both, which they are not supposed to be doing. We had kind of addressed it under the previous administration, but nothing had ever actually been resolved. If it's a city entity, they can't receive nonprofit grants, but if they are a 501c3, then they can. And right now they're just kind of doing both. They apply to nonprofit ones under the nonprofit and city-based ones under the city ownership designation. As far as I'm aware, the grants that they get using the nonprofit status don't ever make their way into the actual city.
the only one we get is the one for the Division of Aging.
So what needs to happen is that they need to be split and have, sort of like there is a nonprofit organization connected to the library that can apply for grants that is not the library. They need to do basically the same thing at the senior center and create a nonprofit, kind of volunteer donation group who is applying for those grants. Which they basically already have. They have an entire senior center board and all of that that is doing those grants. Just right now they're doing it under the jurisdiction of the city entity instead of a separate designated nonprofit.
I talked to Charlotte, but she's the senior age, because I was concerned about this being a nonprofit. And then she gave me the number of the big gal at senior age. But anyway, it was explained to me that the board on the senior center is the nonprofit. The senior center, the building and all of that is not nonprofit. We get $90,000 from senior age to fund meals and home, but the board is the only thing that is nonprofit.
And that's how it should be. They just haven't been actually divided.
Well, they said that they have an agreement with us that, and it explains all of that.
Not that I've ever seen. Because the nonprofit existed before it came into the city, and I think that the nonprofit status is just the Mountain View Senior Center, which now is a city entity. So it should have dropped that whenever the city came in, but,
So that should have been
That's
addressed.
the head of the
Right.
CH that can explain everything to you about.
Okay, I will call her, then I will probably have to have you call her.
yeah, and that's fine, and if there is an agreement, that's great. I've just never been provided one, and whenever we met with
Well,
the,
then, wouldn't the
board
Division of
from-
Aging have to have the agreement if there was an agreement, or who would that agreement be with?
well, it should be with basically the board at the senior center. Because right now, there's an entire board acting on behalf of the senior center, and as far as city documents show, as a unit of the senior center, basically the same as if like the
Well,
golf
I'm-
course advisory board started taking out grants in the name of the Mountain View Golf Course.
Well, now the library gets grants, but those grants are deposited in city
Right,
accounts.
right.
And they've got a board, I guess, that are applying for these things.
Right, and so that's the other thing is that whenever the senior center board is applying for these grants using this nonprofit status, they aren't then giving that money to the city, so they should either be buying items with that
They
money
do.
and then, but they don't then give them to the city, they just sort of put them there. So those assets aren't being turned into city assets even though they are being purchased with funds applied for using a city entity.
Since what the library buys belongs to the Mountain View Library,
Right.
correct?
And this is Charlotte's number, the local one. Charlotte, Miss Charlotte Smith, Davis.
So, what needs to be done document-wise?
Basically, the nonprofit designation needs to switch from being the senior center to being the board.
Okay, so it's the nonprofit.
Right, it needs to become the
Needs-
group of people, not the city-owned entity.
See, that's what Charlotte told me on the phone, that the board is what is nonprofit there.
And that may very well be how they're acting.
Right, and I think that's how they're operating, that's just
nonprofit
not what the
itself.
actual,
With the Secretary of
Documents are,
State's
right.
office.
Okay.
That's, okay.
There's the people,
I'll just call the Secretary of State's office. Okay. Alrighty,
that's what I found out about that.
okay. On these various worksheets, we've cut as much as we can, and what is put in for wages is not including positions that are not filled at this time. Like the police department is down 3,
3.
and I calculated if we, because they desperately need one more. And for one position at $21 an hour, that's $60,000 a year.
Not counting loggers.
No, that's including the base salary, loggers, the insurance,
The whole package.
60,000. And that is not included in this. And as you can see, I mean, the police department budget alone is $945,000, and that's cutting a lot out. The major items anywhere, I mean,
Can they get along with the way it is until we get back on our feet?
well, I'm thinking they will have to, I mean,
Right.
I don't. Now, and we had talked about this before, the gentleman that's retiring in sanitation after 18 and a half years. That position will be filled.
Wasn't it he hired, did he have CDL license?
We don't have the information on that person yet. And looking at the major items that we know the tipping fees are gonna be going up for the, and it's repair and maintenance on equipment in various departments. The water department needs that trash pump. They're currently using 3 smaller ones. And there's 4 departments that have asked budget $10,000 each for a used dump truck, $40,000. You know, there's just no reason why the city can't buy a used dump truck. And there's another vehicle that needs a cab.
Yeah.
The rest of it's good, but the cab, they're sitting on tires or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Chassis wise, you know, powertrain chassis, solid truck, cab's rusted out. You know, it's bad. But, you know, we don't want to put a brand new cab on it. We don't want to put a new truck in that position because that's our brush hauling truck. It's going to get beat up.
Right.
And just today, the water department was working on loading up the trailer, getting things set up to start cutting the holes in the meter lids for the modules. Air compressor locked up. It's one of the mobile gas-powered air compressors, which we need because we'll be working out in the field. $1,500–1,600 right there. So, I mean, but that air compressor was here when I started here, 17–18 years ago. So, and that's what we're running into. I just retired a weed eater this past summer that was here when I started here.
There's so much maintenance that's just never been done. And like the street department is asked to spray foam the inside of the bay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's $7,500 and some heat in there. I mean, it's,
But this is what gets me. The airport asked for, air conditioning and heating down there. They might be 2 or 3 people in that thing. They got it. The guy at the shop don't have heat. The priorities has got to be lined up right. Why do we put a new air unit in it when nobody use it? Well, we got a guy working in the shop with cold hands trying to work on equipment that needs a heater, but he didn't get his, and that was on last year's budget.
there was so much. You know, the police are asking for vests and
What
tasers.
department you are?
Well, that was, Eddie, did you say that was paid off with the grant from the airport?
I'd have to go back and look and see. I know there was some grant money. I don't know if that's what we paid for with or not, but I know there was some grant money.
And that's
I would
one thing,
hope
we
so.
need to generate revenue in that airport. You know, we do have fuel sales and they seem to be good. I'm sure they could be better.
See,
But
I'm puzzled here.
This last sheet here, on page 66.
That is for sanitation.
66 is?
yeah, 40 is sanitation.
Okay.
66 goes with 67, 68, and 69. If they had zeros on the pages, I didn't.
How much, they wanted us to figure out how to generate more revenue. Okay, 18,000 recycle bags, 18,000 was spent on recycle bags. What if they were charged $1 a roll? I mean, I realize that's not gonna be all of it, but I also realize that,
We're having trouble with people using them for trash bags now.
well, the
I
town
think
pays
our
for it.
recycle-
They
but-
pay for them, they are going to use
the trash in it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had somebody go out back in my dumpster and throw 3 of them in there full of trash with blue bags. Because I happened to look, and it was like, well, that's just
And
wonderful.
they wouldn't pay for them, and then the recycling sales would be less too.
I know there's-
Recycle is a part of it.
There's a lot of them used around Christmas time, a lot of those are wasted because the wrapping paper is not recyclable.
Maybe we need to put that, make sure we,
But now some wrapping paper is recyclable. I'm serious, it says recyclable on
That's
that.
gonna be, I'd say that's gonna be very,
How are you gonna-
few and far.
well, then,
I mean, and if they pay attention to it, and they do it right, I mean, great, there's a lot of it that's not. Which I don't understand why it's not.
Huh?
I don't understand why it's not, it's paper.
Because it's got that film on it.
right.
But I buy it once for recycle, and on my blue bag, I write, recycle Christmas
Do not
paper.
throw this in the trash.
It's,
I pay for it, you use it, you know?
yeah. The mayor mentioned this, the tipping fees are gonna go up. Okay, if the tipping fees are gonna go up, do we wanna raise $1? Okay, we're at $20 a month right
I
now
don't think so.
for a regular citizen household. Do we wanna raise it up to $21?
What's
I mean,
going-
that's not an exorbitant amount of money, but $1 over a period of time will add up and help take care of part of that. Okay, and then if like the dumpsters, when they dump the dumpsters, if we go from 20 till $22, okay, that's $2. I mean, most of the time, if you do 3 dumpsters a month, you're talking $6. That's not an exorbitant amount, but when you add it up over a year's period, it is good. We need to look at these roll-off dumpsters, okay? If all they're having to do is come into the city and get a license that says, okay, we're gonna put some roll-off dumpsters, nobody's enforcing the deal with that, then we need to what? Charge them $100, and then they would charge the contractor, but the city would then get $100. Because if they're gonna lose the money off of the dumping of it, off of that right there, how many yards is in one of those roll-offs?
No, I don't know, that's.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
But-
I know like West Plains has, I don't know the exact amount, but I know they put a yearly increase in the ordinance for, I think it was the tipping fees and maybe their general trash rates. I believe it's 2% per year. So we can expect that much of an increase on our tipping fees anyway.
On the dumpsters, I know you mentioned once that there's grants that we can get recyclable dumpsters through a grant.
Yeah, I think that's through the same outfit, they get the grant through every year. They use that for
Why
some
couldn't
wages.
we get those through that grant, get the 3 that they use inside,
Yeah.
and then we have those 3 to rent?
And if there's extra money left in that grant, I mean, I'm sure.
Because right now
Zach
that
will be all
grant's
over it.
paying for our
Yeah.
2,
Salary, I
When I
know.
spoke to him last, he said there wasn't a whole lot of wiggle room in that.
what does the dumpster cost? Do you know that?
Oh, I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. There was 2, he gave me like 4 different prices, 2 yard, 4 yard, 6 yard, and there's used price, new matter. I say used, or
We
retail
got
price versus new
$6,000 in
price.
here.
So I don't remember which ones, and I hate to speak and not know for sure.
And it shows need right there, and so we gotta do something.
And, I mean, what's the rent on the dumpsters right now
$20 on a 2-yard.
per month?
Per month,
And,
yeah.
and from what I understand, there's a lot of people who rent them and just don't dump them. They're just paying that rent. They might dump them once a month. So that plugs up a lot of our dumpsters, you know, and they say, we're out of dumpsters and somebody's needing one.
But now, I can rent a dumpster and put it in my house, but I'm still having to pay the $20 a month.
Yeah. $20 a month for the dumpster and what, $20 a month for trash. So it's $40 a month.
Well, but I mean, from what you said, they're just renting a dumpster for $20 and letting it sit out back.
I don't know
It's
why.
the same difference, I mean, what I'm saying is, you know, if they're renting that dumpster for 20, they're renting it
Yeah.
at $240 a year.
Yeah, but it takes how many years rental to pay for it? I mean,
Well, I don't know.
But I'm not sure, but I think there is a daily rental rate on it as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's great.
I want to address personnel services for a moment because
Well, it's,
the only way to reduce that would be the positions that we don't fill
plus the,
or the employees' health insurance. We pay 100%, those went up like $4. They do not contribute to it. But even if we had them contribute something and change the plan, it's a savings of less than $100,000 a year. So I don't know if you even want to think about touching
Well,
the
we're gonna have
employees.
to cut something. I mean, we can't go living from one day to the next because that's what we're doing right now, and it's a struggle. So if we have, it's not fun, it's not easy to do, but if we have to cut personnel, we have to cut personnel.
Financial situation in City Hall. We've got to have somebody to follow the grants that we do have and the ones that need to be administered. So we are working on a process that we need to go into closed session for personnel for that.
Well, we used to have 2 in streets, 2 in water and sewer. Why do we need 8 at the library?
Well, and that, I asked that for right now, the personnel issue about the budget, let's go into closed session first before we continue with the personnel part.
Okay.
But that's something that you need to think about. But one thing I do want to bring to your attention, and it is on one of the worksheets, I wrote it on page 14, is the youth center electricity.
Right.
We give them a $7,000 credit, and
You know
for
why?
whatever date that is, in,
Page 14.
yeah, 14, I just put the 7,000 in there because that's what it has
See,
in the
that's
past.
what we did, I saw that.
Yeah, I seen that.
Because in speaking with her when she was trying to come before the council for the lease on the softball fields, she mentioned this, that she wanted to come before the council to ask for this with an increase. And I told her at that time that I would include it in the budget for the 7, but not, I would bring it to the budget for the 7, but not bring it.
I was on the council when that was, you remember that? We had another council person, if you remember. He drove a school bus, and he picked up a lot of kids because Rick, is his name Rick, that used to run it?
You're talking about Jim Henry, I think.
No,
talking about back when Ricky Baker ran the.
Ricky.
Yeah,
Ricky.
okay.
When Ricky, and he come to the council, and he asked if we could help with the 7th, with his electricity. Bobby really recommended it because Ricky was babysitting with citizens' children down there and putting them on the bus, and Bobby would go by and get them. Bobby would bring them back to the youth center, drop them off, so after their parents got off of work, they picked them up. That's why they was given help, because they was helping citizens of our town with the.
Oh, kind of like the babysitting that the pool was doing.
No.
Okay,
It was kind of like an after-school program.
Yeah.
After-school program, yeah.
so there is no after-school program now?
No,
Nope.
no, they don't help out. I mean, they're open Friday and Saturday, Maybe.
Yeah.
maybe. one
Fridays
day.
for sure.
Fridays for sure, so they really don't. That's why we let them have this 7, because they was helping out our citizens.
Right.
But in my books, we just eliminate this because,
Well, agreement probably runs through the middle of the year. I don't know what the date on that was.
They started the first of last year when they voted it in, wasn't it?
I don't remember the month. I was thinking
I was,
it was like sometime in the summer.
yeah.
I was thinking June or July.
That's what I
That's
was
what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I
So
think
the
it got kind
contract
of missed for
probably runs
several
through
months.
July.
Anybody have any idea how much that is a month? How much electric they're using a month?
We can pull it, I don't have it right now.
Yeah, I'm just curious, I mean, what do we do? To me, I mean, the youth center is a plus for the community regardless. Okay, but maybe we should just say we'll just pay actual electric. But what about the heat? Do they not, I mean, Smith's, somebody went in there and put all new heat systems in there, if I'm not mistaken, heat and air systems.
I mean, I'm not against the youth center, but I'm just explaining why.
Well, I mean, when they came before us and asked about taking over the softball fields, and we asked them if it was open in the summer when school was out, and they said no.
Right. Well, I know when Bobby was on the council, he really pushed for us helping them out because they was helping citizens in the community. Because he'd get them on the bus, sometime Ricky would go back home, and then somebody was always there in the afternoon to get them off the bus.
I should be back in just a minute. I'm old.
So that's what that was about. And with them being open one or maybe sometimes 2 days a week. And she wants an increase on it?
That's what she said she was gonna ask for, but
And unfortunately, they're gonna take a hit because of the new facility coming in.
Yeah. But there's been a lot of people go to them and want more hours, you know, more activity for the kids, and I know they do that, what do they call it, the shoot the hoops or something, basketball thing they do down there in the summertime.
Like tournaments for
Yeah, it's some kind of youth.
youth activities and tournaments.
But they also give us their financial, didn't they, when,
their projected revenue was,
Yes.
was all it was. It didn't have any assets or anything like that. I guess the one big thing for this budget to even be a start for the projection would be that electric rate. We're going to implement that or not. Otherwise, then we're going to have to cut out something somewhere.
And that would increase about 601,000 per year, is that what you're saying?
If we did
Yeah.
how the.
If we did the
engineers
2.5%.
remember.
is there any way you can do a study on that and find
I
out?
can try and put
What it's
some
gonna
numbers
cost.
together. I mean,
But we have a time crunch here that we're going to have to,
you can pretty well, a 2.5 cent increase on 1,000 kilowatt bill will be $25.
And we just-
2.5 cents on 1,000 would be $25. And that's, I'd say, an average electric consumption is gonna be, depends on time of year, but you're probably looking between 1,000 and 1,500 kilowatts. So you can be looking at an increase of $25 to $35.
Yeah.
Which I think is a lot of the reason why it hadn't been implemented yet. Nobody wanted to make that decision.
I was gonna say, that's really bad, Eddie, when we just increased the sewer. I I mean, we're gonna,
We've been, I've
better
been
get the
mentioning
rails
this for
greased up.
quite some time.
And I know this question's been asked a lot, but how do we compare to Wellspring?
I need to do, look, I will work on that, see what I can find out. I have looked into it. I think they also do a purchase power adjustment, so I'll see what kind of information.
No, I just divided that 600.
What did that say? What did it come out?
So I just, after I got that 600,000 divided by 12 is maybe 50,000 a month. I don't need a calculator for that, but
Okay, I'm looking at the library here. Was there not something with library where they had to pay for, I forgot how much a year? Like, quite a bit of money, quite a bit.
Library and-
Or state, something or another.
Well, I know,
Library state grants expense here is $6,000 2 years ago, and they put nothing, and then $246.
and another thing that's.
well, there's some grants that have like 10%, maybe they had to pay something. But the grants that we receive are in the revenue report from
Yeah, they don't have nothing on there, excuse me, they don't have nothing on there about ebooks, and I know ebooks cost. That's why,
And deal over there in Pomona, at 15,000 a year, is that total? I mean, that all comes off of us.
Right. And
All
it's-
15,000 of that comes off of us.
Yes.
we get 750.
And we get a free lunch, or it might be a dinner, by the way,
We-
that's not being real nice.
We do get 7,500, or we always did, I don't know if they still do or not, donated to cover half of that 15,000.
Not, I know.
Well, that's what I was told
That was
by
what-
2 other people.
Oh, yeah.
The 7,500, we only actually paid 75, and the other 75 was matched something or another.
What's that called?
I don't know, I don't remember the name of it.
Jacksboro.
The Jacksport Community Foundation? They would have had to apply for a grant to have gotten that.
No, they just pay it out of their funds. They just donate that to us to pay for that.
No paperwork
Well-
on it, right?
I haven't seen anything, but again,
That one that I handed you, that you wanted to copy of, maybe it might be on there, on revenue. It should be.
well, we spent $15,000 sometime this year. That's what it is right there. The ODC payment.
And see, that's what I was told that we got $7,500, and we only paid $7,500.
Situation.
That's Calvin's favorite spot.
Yeah. Well, I would like for somebody to tell me what that does.
They take everything.
He was here. I don't know where it would be in here,
It should be on donations. If they put it in there, I've got it on the one
I
that we
can
did.
find out, I'll make a phone call tomorrow to make sure.
Because he's always done that. I think that's what it's called, is it the Jacksboro?
I just have to make the call.
Okay.
And so,
but
this,
I
anyway,
mean, this budget worksheets, we've got to have a budget documented, and it requires a letter explaining differences and stuff like that. And it needs to be approved. And again, this would be a projection only, and it can be amended.
But as close as our money is, I don't wanna go back every 2 months and have to
Well, we
amend
won't
this,
have,
you know, and that's gonna make us look like a bunch of.
Well,
we can only work with what we have, though.
so at what point do we make a decision on something such as what I brought up, like increasing the fees for the trash of $1 a month and the dumpsters $2? I mean, do I need to make a motion? Do we, at what point do
If-
we need to?
If it's gonna be projected revenue, then it'll have to be determined now.
Or at least by next week, when our next meeting is, we have to put it in there.
And if we are going to have another meeting, which, that's up to you guys, but I know we don't have all the answers here.
Right.
Um,
I know.
But I would ask that it be either next Thursday or Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Alderman Martin is not available for any evening meeting next week.
So he can't be there Thursday,
In the evening.
In the evenings.
but you can be there Friday.
I can be
Thursday.
there Thursday at 1 or Friday at 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's doing all the ball games out
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
How are you?
What, you can, we could set it up for Thursday. If we didn't get done, then we might have to have a short one on Friday.
Yeah. I have to take off work early on Thursday to do it, but that's okay because of the commitments I have in the evening those
Okay.
days.
Well, how, whatever.
Okay, then we
Easy.
will prepare a final document with the letter, hopefully that you can approve it on Thursday. But
Okay, next Thursday would be the 19th, is that
Yes,
what you're saying?
the
Okay, at
19th.
1 o'clock?
at 1 o'clock.
That's almost too far ahead at this point. I think I could, yeah, I'll make it.
Okay. But
I'm glad you said that, because let me check on. I'm just sitting
Okay,
here
and at
going,
the
okay.
time, do we want, or do you want us? This is wonderful. I mean, it just takes a little bit to get to understand what you're talking about on some of this.
well,
I mean,
and it's what we got is, I mean,
All right, but I mean, do you want us to forward to you, bring to you, whatever, our suggestions, such as, like I said, with the trash, or to, like the
Well,
library? I don't know how many
those
hours a week the
decisions-
library is right now. Do you want us to bring that to you so that you can put
no,
it?
we need it now while everybody's here, not just to me.
Well, but
I mean,
I,
if you're gonna make decisions like that, that has to be made in an open meeting.
Maybe we need to go behind closed and discuss personnel and then come back and work on this.
Okay? Well, let me see what else we need to do
We're gonna,
before.
if we're gonna discuss that, then we have to,
Okay, the next meeting would be the next thing on the agenda.
the
So we're
19th,
the 19th at 1 PM.
right.
okay.
And at that point, you're saying that we're not allowed to vote on anything that I'm sitting here or anybody else is talking about
No,
as to,
no, it'll be a regular, I mean, it'll be an open meeting.
right,
But if you want something addressed, make a motion and let's get as much out of the way tonight as we
Okay.
can. Before, we want to go into open, or closed session first?
No, I'll make that
Okay.
motion.
We have-
go in closed session.
Is there a second?
I'll
Discuss it.
Okay, motion and second to go into closed session for personnel and legal. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Martin,
Aye.
Alderman Yarber,
Aye.
Alderman Coulter,
Aye.
Alderman Perry.
Aye.
At 8:45.
Actually, it said 11:35, but
Well, I knew about that.
We need a motion, please, to go back into open session.
I make a motion to come back into open session.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in roll call vote.
Alderman Martin,
aye.
Alderman Yarber,
Aye.
Alderman Coulter,
Aye.
Alderman Perry.
Aye.
The only decision from the closed session was to promote Ernie Adams as supervisor at the golf course, effective January 1st at a rate of pay of $20 an hour.
With a maximum comp bank of 240 hours as comp straight time.
That's our announcement from the closed session.
You need to eat back there.
It's cold right there.
Is you cold? You had to be cold.
I have to dig my announcements back out, I guess that's the only thing. Oh, no. In speaking with the budget, I would like to ask for a motion that the electric rate will be increased 0.015 per kilowatt hour across the board.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call vote. All in favor? Oh, any discussion?
Yes, thank you. Is this, are we gonna state this, that we are approving this? That we are just, implementing what the last council passed?
Let me find that ordinance again.
I haven't read over that. I heard her read the ordinance. I couldn't tell you what
It says
said.
a rate increase on that.
It was to make the adjustment for
Purchase power adjustment.
purchase power adjustment that was approved, I believe
July
in August of
2023.
2023,
August of 2023.
and it reads about the adjustment up and down. We had an engineer's analysis that came up with the proposed point.
So,
So 2.5 cents, but you're making the motion for the 1.5 instead, correct?
right,
All right.
Did you already do an ordinance for the 1.5, or is that still gonna have
yes,
to be
there's an
done?
ordinance for,
It doesn't
1.5.
say 1.5 on the ordinance.
No, it says
says
one.
to match, no, it says
It says-
1 cent to match the ordinance that was passed.
Because I remember that one being really strange.
Yeah.
Yes, because it says for each 1 cent increase or decrease or major fraction thereof in the city's monthly cost of purchase power of 0.07 per kilowatt hour in the most recent 3 months preceding the billing period, there shall be correspondingly added to or subtracted each customer's bill an equal amount to 1 cent or a major fraction thereof. But when who did this?
BHMG is who,
Some engineer anyway. They took what we had bought, and with the rate adjustment that it would have been each month, and they had come out with the 0.025 as an average.
Okay, then we'll need to update the ordinance and change it from that one that sounds like it's going to be
Are we going
different
up
all
and
the
down, up
time,
and
right,
down
and set it
to
at
1
that
cent?
flat.
But we're doing
1.5.
See, if we went up to 1 cent, would we just, okay, if we just went to 1 cent,
like they
we could
said.
just approve that, right?
I don't think so. I don't think that's allowing for just a 1 cent because it says plus or minus and up and down. And there's a lot going on there. It sounds like you guys are just wanting to do a flat 1 cent or
Right,
1.5.
this,
Yeah.
And that's not a
this is
flat
adjusting-
anything.
No, this is
That,
not a flat
yeah,
anything.
fluctuates, so.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot that's tied into that ordinance. If you look at that spreadsheet, that last number on that spreadsheet,
That purchase power
that purchase power
adjustment.
adjustment fluctuates every month, and that's what she recommended to add on to each kilowatt hour across the board
And really,
at the same tier we're at. So, and that was gonna run between, what, 1.5 and 1.8?
well, only 3 months that it was less than 2.02.
Yeah, yeah.
Only
So
3
you-
months. It
so
was
you're just gonna redo this
0.02.
Yeah, so we would need to redo the ordinance to
We'd
make
have
it
to
the
redo-
set,
Yeah.
because you'll need to
I just
revoke.
want-
Increase that 0.07 to 0.085? Is that what we're doing?
Well, if you're wanting it to not,
No.
because that one is set like, Eddie was to, it sounds to me like fluctuate based on
Yeah.
how the city's
At least-
expense
I was
fluctuated.
under the impression it was gonna fluctuate
Yes.
roughly 1 cent plus or minus
Right.
throughout.
That's what I was saying.
Fluctuate 1 cent.
Right,
Right.
so if
Now-
you're not wanting the fluctuations, it needs to be, that one needs to be repealed,
Yeah,
and it needs to be replaced with a set 1.5 or 2 or whatever you decide on. Because how it's written now, it's going to fluctuate based on the city's rate of.
So we need to take the
Expense.
fluctuation word out of it, or just say at a set 1%.
Purchase power adjustment is
1 cent.
what this is called.
see, if you
Right.
look at that, the fluctuation.
Right.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I
is
looked at it when I
roughly
was
a
here.
penny plus or minus, so.
Well, you know, this does say
Those tiers.
Oh, sure, you do that.
That's why, yeah.
an amount equal to 1 cent or major fraction thereof. So if we set it at 1 cent,
And just change the wording, then,
instead of,
But you will still have to redo an ordinance, because that
Right.
ordinance has been passed
Right.
as it is, right? But, you know, always in the past, it was just if we changed what it was, we upped it by a flat amount, and so if
So
that's what
we
you guys
just
are
need to
doing,
be,
you just need to write it that way.
we just need to be amending this 1742 ordinance to
Yes.
read as,
Right, if you're
Just a
increasing
set
it by
1%.
this amount per, yes, then that's what
we're
you want to do.
increasing that
Yeah.
0.07 per kilowatt hour to
1 cent.
0.085 or 0.8.
0.5, yeah, 8.5. I think
Okay,
that's what I
1.5.
proposed, is a cent and a half.
Is that 0.85?
Yes.
Because it's at 1.7 right now.
It's
See,
0.07.
now,
That's 7 cents.
okay, so if you add a cent and a
It's
half.
not
to it,
right?
it'd be
I say, if that never got
0.08.
implemented, then it's not gonna be the
50.
7.
Well,
This is, I don't know where this 7 cents come from.
Right?
All this
That's not
stuff
all
come from BHMG. All the
Yeah.
verbiage, that's
See,
one,
right
why
there.
she didn't understand
Yeah.
it, I didn't understand it. There was something that
Not
what do
the
we pay
engineers,
now?
okay. Here it is.
Because we're adding
So-
to the 7, and we're gonna
It's
change
not what-
this
Yeah.
to
So that 7
0.
cents, if you look at this, is less.
See, it's just like over here. 'Cause see,
Oh, it's
right here,
at 7 now.
First,
It's at 7 now.
Right.
10, 30, 40,
8, 5,
So,
point
you
0,
get over,
8, 5,
over 2,000,
zero.
you're at 7.8 cents there. She, what her rate is.
Not complicating anything, I'm just saying.
Average.
what are we billing now for?
Do like that?
What are we billing, because this whole thing right here,
That's the.
As far as I'm aware, no part of that ever got implemented.
Right,
I think
no
they
part of
passed
it
it
ever
and then
got
completely
implemented.
pretended that they didn't and changed
Exactly.
nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think we are at exactly where we were whenever that was put in
before
place.
this one then.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So it'll be whatever it was before that one, because that
Okay.
one was completely ignored in its
So we
entirety
have
in
to
every way.
scratch this.
We need to raise the rate to 0.0850
No,
from,
we're, that's not, we don't have proof that that's what we're paying for.
So you're just wanting to increase
That
whatever it is that
0.07
you're
is
paying,
not what we're billing.
but
I know, that's what it says right here.
Yeah, that's what we are
Base
billing,
cost
yeah, 0.7. And we're
0.07.
supposed to raise it up and fluctuate it within a period
Yeah.
of that.
That's
So-
what we're paying, but not what we're billing.
What we're
Yeah.
billing, where was that rate table at?
This,
This is our current rate table. That's our current rate structure and cost right now, best I can tell. is that 1478 is our current minimum. Pretty sure that is the current minimum. All these numbers here are currently accurate. If you're looking for an across-the-board increase, you would just increase each one of those tiers 1.5 cents
Now, I
per
want to
kilowatt.
tie it in
Right.
with what they passed, and I wanted to amend it because
So
it
you
never
would-
was, implemented,
Implemented,
and
yeah.
that's not our fault.
No,
So
no.
we just changed that, amend that to point
What
oh
about if
eight
we
five.
do a whole new ordinance?
Well, we are amending it, so that's what we are doing to it.
Yeah, you'll be amending it to be whatever you want it to be now, which it sounds to me like it's going to be what we're charging plus the 1.5
Yeah,
or
the base,
whatever.
So we're gonna increase the
Right.
current rates, whatever they are,
Point oh,
by 0.015.
so,
yeah,
So
that's
that's
right.
what-
No, she's right.
Yeah.
0.015. That's exactly right.
and
That will make it,
over 1,000 kilowatts. That's what you had looked at.
That was an alternate option, either across the board or alternate, and I would
Over
say it needs
1,000.
to be done,
I think it should be
our rating structure here.
over 1,000 kilowatts.
I would say it's across the board, all three of them.
Well, because me and Eddie talked about that, the more you use, the less you pay. So it goes back to the guy that don't use and conserve pays more than the person that just turns lights on all over the house and don't care.
Well, the residential, there's 1,000 right there. Commercial, it goes 6,000 and then 10,000. Commercial 2 is 6,000 and then 10,000.
But see, up here, the low guy's already paying that, and you get past 1,000 and you don't pay near as much.
So we're only
Right,
adding,
Eddie?
you're only
Yeah, that's
adding
what
it
it's,
to
1,000 and over,
1,000 and over, or over 1,000?
over 1,000, all over, now, yeah, all over 1,000.
That's, I don't have the numbers.
Because that's the way it's set up here, so
Yeah.
it can be set up that way too.
Yeah, I don't have the
Okay.
totals on what kind of a difference you would see
Point
on
015,
revenues on that.
Not much, because there's not very,
There's not a
Concern.
lot that go,
Under.
there's several that go above 1,000, but
but not very much that goes under.
there's more,
there's more
and
under.
anybody who uses,
there's more that goes under
1,000.
than goes over, guaranteed.
yeah, there's a lot more that use under 1,000 than there is that use it over. So
Yeah.
you have to break out of those tiers. So if you use over 1,000, and say if you use 1,200, they're not all getting charged at that same tier. You have to bust through a tier.
Oh, I know, there's a tier right here that she was showing,
Yeah,
and the people over 1,000 is paying less per kilowatt than the people that's using 6, 7, 800, 900.
once they break out of that
Right,
1,000.
right.
So for the first 10 is still the same price. Next 30 is a certain price.
Yeah,
and
it
next-
says 10, 30, 40, 120, 800,
Yeah.
and then
So
1,000.
That's why it broke up
everybody
like that,
has
is because
to break
there's so
out of
many
that
less
tier. And I'm just saying, I don't know how many go above and beyond 1,000 to be able to give you accurate numbers as to what kind of a revenue difference you're looking at if you only do the 1.5 cents on the higher users, which I don't disagree with.
But there's
But
no
we
way
didn't have a
to
chance to
project.
sit down and go over the numbers.
Right.
So I don't know what to tell you as far, what kind of difference that would make. I
But
don't,
when you have these people saying they're paying $200 for their electric, then they're not very conservative. Just on their electric, not on their utility.
yeah,
So there is several people that goes over that 1,000.
yeah, oh, yeah, I agree. I mean, I saw the numbers, I don't remember them off the top of my head, as far as like kilowatt, hours. I don't remember what it was. There was the highest number of kilowatt hours were in that 600 to 1,000 range. After that, it dropped off considerably.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it would be helpful for you to be able to look at those numbers, since you have to redo the ordinance anyway, this is going to be coming back, so you could get those numbers, do your first reading, and the
Yeah.
discussion of the first reading, talk about those numbers, adjust the language if you decide that you want to, and then do your second reading.
Okay?
That way you can actually have the data.
I agree. If it'll get us that much closer to supper time, I'm ready.
Okay, but we need to know what to put in this projected increase. So is it gonna be 0.105 across the board now, or over the 1,000? Until it's
Well, see,
across the board?
We can't say that until we.
well, but if you don't.
Well, you can just pick one, just pick
Yeah.
one, put it in there, and then you change
Use
it,
it for,
Good.
so.
Yeah.
Over 1,000, that way you'll see, and then you can always go back and run it from the start up.
I'll run it both ways.
Right, there you go.
I'll even find somewhere
Across
happy
the
with
We're
board,
gonna have
it.
to-
let's go across the board. And then you run us a study on both, then we
and
can
we're
change
gonna
it.
use it across the board for the budget.
Right, because that way we know that with that amount of KW, the electric department's going to break even for the year, and that's all we want. We don't want it to make $2.5 million. Well, maybe we do.
Throw away money.
Okay. I think the motion is
I made the motion to raise it,
0.015 per
0.0150.
kilowatt hour across the board
right,
to our current rates.
But
Yeah.
really, your motion is to make an ordinance to do that.
Yes.
Because-
Gary seconded it, and now we have to have a vote, right?
Now,
Well, need some discussion. first.
Well, you can
We
say,
got more
we just
discussion?
got that.
Okay. When you're ready, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Martin. Alderman Yarber.
Aye.
Alderwoman Coulter.
no. Aye.
Alderman Perry.
Aye, don't do that, this is official.
I was official when I said it. I make a motion, we adjourn this meeting.
I will second that motion.
I will third that.
I guess we're not gonna have any.
No mayor's announcement.
That's what I was waiting for. Oh, I'm sorry, that's all right.
We've announced enough tonight.
There's no one but Stetson here to announce you now anyway, so.
Everybody's starving, Sherry.
No, I ate a bowl
I
of
mean,
it
what
before I
said,
came.
the,
I moved
up front to let you guys know.
Around by 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, did you get a motion and a second to adjourn, and
Yep.
everybody in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is done.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'm gonna get her one.